Okay, so you know how sometimes there's these mysteries that they really get under your skin?
Oh, yeah.
Like you just can't let them go. They worm their way into your brain, and you're just constantly thinking about them, trying to figure them out.
Yeah, totally.
That's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
We're taking a deep dive into one of those mysteries, the story of the lost colony of Roanoke.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a classic, and for good reason. I mean, think about it. England's first real attempt to establish a colony in the New World.
Right, the late 1500s.
Exactly. A whole bunch of people full of hope, ready to start a new life, and then poof, gone, vanished.
It's wild. Like when you actually stop and think about it, 117 people just gone, no trace.
That's the part that always gets me. It's not just that they disappeared, it's that there's basically no trace.
Right, it's not like a few scattered clues or a couple of skeletons or something. It's like they literally vanished into thin air.
And that's what makes it so creepy, right? That complete silence.
Totally. And to make it even weirder, all they left behind was one single clue carved into a tree. The word Croatoan.
It's like the last page of a mystery novel got ripped out. You're so close to the answer, and then boom, nothing.
I know, right? Talk about a cliffhanger.
So let's set the scene for everyone. It's 1587. We're on Roanoke Island, this little island off the coast of what's now North Carolina.
Beautiful spot. I've been there years ago. Beautiful beaches.
Wow. So anyway, back then, it's not exactly a vacation destination. It's this untamed wilderness. And you've got this group of families led by Governor John White, all determined to carve out a new existence for themselves and for England.
They had high hopes.
Definitely. And right there in this brand new colony, something pretty incredible happens. John White's granddaughter is born.
Don't you need to dare?
Like the very first English child born in America. It's like this powerful symbol of new beginnings.
It really is like the embodiment of all their hopes and dreams for the future.
Absolutely. But then things take a turn. Governor White has to go back to England to get more supplies.
Yeah.
Food tools, all the essentials.
They needed a lot.
Yeah. And he leaves behind his daughter Eleanor and baby Virginia. Now, what he doesn't know is that this trip back to England is going to be a lot longer than he planned.
Yeah, England gets dragged into a war with Spain right around then.
And that basically throws a huge wrench in his plans. He can't get back to Roanoke for 3 whole years. He's stuck.
Can you imagine, like, knowing your family's out there on this tiny little island in the middle of nowhere?
And no way to contact them.
No cell phones, no internet, just hoping and praying that they're okay.
It's a parent's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
So finally, in 1590, he makes it back. And what he finds is just chilling.
A ghost town.
Yeah, literally deserted.
But here's the thing, and this is where it gets really weird. The houses weren't just abandoned, they were, like, carefully taken apart.
So it's not like they just fled in a panic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It seems more like they were planning to leave, maybe relocate somewhere else.
But then where did they go?
Yeah.
And why didn't they leave a better message?
Okay, well, besides that one word carved into a tree, remember? Croatoan.
All right, the only real clue in this whole thing. So we got to ask ourselves, what does it mean? Where did they go?
Well, Croatoan was the name of an island about 50 miles south of Roanoke, present-day Hatteras Island. And it was also the name of the Native American tribe who lived there.
So that seems like the most obvious place to start, right? Maybe the colonists decided to ditch Roanoke and join the Croatoan tribe?
It's a theory that's been around for a long time, and there's actually some kind of interesting evidence to support it.
Like what?
Well, when the Jamestown colony was founded up north in 1607, some of those settlers reported seeing Native Americans with unusual features like gray eyes and light skin.
So they're thinking maybe descendants of the Roanoke colonists.
It's possible. Then in the 1990s, they found some English artifacts on Hatteras Island, things like coins and a ring.
So that adds more fuel to the fire.
Right. But here's the catch. There's no definitive DNA evidence to link those artifacts or those Jamestown accounts back to the Roanoke settlers.
So still a theory.
Exactly. A compelling theory, but still just a theory.
Okay, so what else could have happened? What if leaving Roanoke wasn't their choice?
That's where things get a little darker.
Yeah, because we also know that the environment wasn't exactly friendly. I mean, those tree ring records paint a pretty grim picture.
Yeah, there was a brutal drought going on right around the time the colony disappeared from like 1587 to 1589.
And for those colonists, that wouldn't just be an inconvenience, it would be a matter of life and death.
Right. They were completely reliant on whatever they could grow and whatever water they could find.
So you're talking widespread crop failure, dwindling food supplies.
A fight for survival.
And that kind of pressure It could make people do desperate things.
It could lead to conflict maybe with other local tribes.
Right? Maybe they were competing for resources, or maybe the colonists just encroached on someone else's territory and things got violent.
And if there was a massacre, well, the swampy environment could easily hide any remains over the centuries.
True. Plus, we know that relations between colonists and Native Americans weren't always peaceful.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, conflict was all too common.
So that's definitely a possibility we can't ignore. But what about the Spanish? I mean, they were hanging out in Florida, weren't they?
Yeah, Spain was a major player in the region at the time and not exactly England's best friend.
So could they have raided Roanoke?
It's been suggested, but there's no real evidence to back it up.
Okay, so that one seems like more of a long shot.
Yeah, probably.
Now things get even more interesting, or should I say more out there, when we start looking at some of the more extreme theories about what happened to Roanoke.
Buckle up, right?
Yeah, because some people have suggested that the colonists resorted to cannibalism.
Wow.
I know it sounds crazy,
Yeah.
but if they were desperate enough, if they were starving, and there was no other way to survive.
Grim.
Yeah, definitely. And if that did happen, the lack of skeletal remains wouldn't be so surprising after all those years.
I guess not.
And then you got the supernatural explanations.
Yeah.
Curses, angry spirits.
Always a popular theme.
Right, like maybe the colonists were seen as invaders, and the spirits of the land sought revenge.
It plays into that primal fear of the unknown, right? When something terrible happens and we don't understand it, we tend to look for answers in the supernatural.
And speaking of the unknown, how about this one alien abduction?
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Some people actually believe that the whole colony got beamed up by extraterrestrials.
And the word Croatoan was like a message to the aliens.
Maybe a signal or a warning, who knows?
And if that wasn't wild enough, there's even the idea of time travel.
That they stumbled into some kind of portal and ended up in another time.
Yeah, like they accidentally went through a wormhole or something.
It's a fun thought.
Hmm.
But let's be real here. These theories are all pretty far-fetched.
To say the least.
And the thing is, we actually have very little physical evidence to go on. For a colony of over 100 people, you'd think we'd find more than just a few scraps of pottery.
I know, right? You'd expect some substantial remains, some foundations, maybe even some graves.
But archaeologists have been digging around Roanoke for centuries, and they haven't found anything conclusive.
There was that interesting discovery in 2015, though. Remember that map with the hidden fort symbol?
Oh yeah, that was exciting.
It led to some excavations on the mainland, and they did find some English artifacts which suggested that maybe part of the colony moved inland.
So maybe they split up.
Possibly. But even those digs didn't turn up any graves or any definitive answers about what happened to the majority of the colonists.
And let's not forget about the Croatoan stone that turned out to be a hoax.
Oh man, that was a wild goose chase.
For those who don't know, it was this stone supposedly found in the 1930s with all these carvings on it, describing the colonists' fate like a message from beyond the grave.
It seemed too good to be true.
And it was. It turned out to be a fake.
Which is a good reminder that not every piece of evidence is what it seems.
Absolutely. And we have to remember that Roanoke Island itself has changed a lot over the centuries. It's been hit by hurricanes, there's been erosion.
So it's entirely possible that any real physical evidence is long gone, washed away, or buried under tons of sand.
So where does that leave us? What do historians actually think happened to Roanoke?
Well, most of them lean towards the more practical explanations.
Like relocation or natural causes?
Exactly. Those theories fit best with what we know about early colonial life and the challenges the colonists would face.
But there are still so many unanswered questions. Why didn't they leave a clearer message than just Croatoan? If they died from disease or famine, where are the bodies?
It's that lack of definitive answers that keeps us coming back to Roanoke, that keeps the mystery alive.
And it's clearly captured the imagination of generations. I mean, there are tons of books, documentaries, even TV shows inspired by Roanoke.
It's America's first mystery.
A true enigma.
And it's like this blank canvas onto which we can project our own fears and fascinations.
So here we are over 400 years later, still trying to unravel the mystery of Roanoke.
With only one cryptic clue to guide us.
It's almost like this eerie current flowing from 1590 all the way to the present day.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave you with this final thought. What does the complete silence of Roanoke truly tell us? Is it a story of hardship lost to time? Or is there something truly inexplicable at play?
Think about it. Which parts of this mystery resonate most with you? Why does this single word, Croatoan, continue to hold such power over our imagination? The answers might just be out there waiting to be discovered.
Or maybe the truth of Roanoke is destined to remain forever shrouded in mystery.
Who knows? But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? The mystery keeps us searching, keeps us wondering.
Exactly. And that's what makes this story so compelling.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the mysteries that fascinate you.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll finally crack the code of Roanoke.
Maybe. But until then, the mystery lives on.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.